Hey guys, welcome to Home Sweet Homeschool. If you're new here, my name is Ashley and I'm a homeschooling mom to one. And in today's video, I'm going to give you a homeschool update. So it has been quite a while since I made a video. I think this is about 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. But we hit the ground running in August trying to get some work under our belts. And then we took 2 vacations because we're those homeschoolers that love to go places once everyone else goes back to school. So my husband and son and I, we all went up north. We actually went to Philadelphia for a concert for my son, but we ended up visiting Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Oh my goodness, if you've not been there, you've got to go. It is absolutely beautiful. We also spent some time in Philadelphia, and then we went over into New Jersey and did some things over there too. So that was so much fun. We came home for a week, did a little bit of school, and then we went on a beach trip with my mom and dad and my sister and her family. So we did all of that to round out August. We get back and it's my son's birthday, and his birthday was on a Wednesday. Then my husband had foot surgery on Thursday that we didn't know he was going to need to have, but he's doing great. His doctor has been wonderful. He's healing well. Things are good. And then the very next day, my mom had a partial mastectomy. And so she's doing really well with that. She's got to heal up for 6 weeks. And so it has just been a whirlwind of stuff. And YouTube has to take the back seat when we're living life. Like, that's just how it is. So I do want to share with you what we've actually accomplished, though, and what we've started and what's going good, all that good stuff. So I'm just going to go with my stack over here. The first thing that we've been using, we use this geography. It is the 50 state series from Campfire curriculums. If you are looking for an amazing geography program because you are bored with all the ones that are out there, you have got to look up their 50 states geography series. They are so good. And so we actually did, we're doing it out of order. As long as you don't follow the storyline, you can do it out of order. So we did Pennsylvania. We did the 2 lessons that cover Pennsylvania. Then we did Florida. And then I asked my son, like, what state do you want to do next? And he's like, we've never studied our own state. So if you didn't know, we live in Georgia. So we are on the South Atlantic one right now, but they have an amazing series. I will put their website link down in the description. It's not an affiliate link. Just go check them out. They're amazing. So we are actually learning about Georgia right now. What we do is we just set a timer for 5 to 10 minutes, depending on what our day looks like. I read as much as I can. We talk about it. That's how we use it. It's really good. And then when we finish the 2 lessons, because each state has 2 lessons, we use our Schoolnest narration notebook. Now, they have different ones. You don't have to get the one with this really pretty cover. If you don't know this about us, we also love Schoolnest notebooks. If you are a family who loves to notebook or does a lot of unit studies or narration or anything like that, you do need to check out Schoolnest. I love their products. We've been using their notebooks for a long time, their planners, everything. So this narration notebook is what he writes in. He just tells me what stuck out to him about the state that we learned, what he found important, those kind of things. I'll show you a page of 9, but he doesn't want me to show his work. But this is what the page looks like. So you can put the date. You can write about, they can illustrate. That's where he draws things from the state. You could glue things in, and then you have your lined paper. And so the other thing that's in here is the map. With the geography unit, you do get a big map, and that way you can find the state and all that good stuff. So that's going well. That is one of the things that we use. The other thing that we kind of started, and we only started this, we just did this here and there. We didn't sit down and do every single lesson in a row, but this is, in other words, a practical writing course from Not Consumed. And we started just the first lesson, which is Unit 1, which is on writing well. What does it look like to write well? And so they do have like the steps of the writing process at the beginning. And then I think there was 5 lessons that just kind of walked him through coming up with topics. What do you know about these topics? Formal and informal writing, knowing your topic, time well spent. And this also went over the importance of using a variety of different sentences. So complex sentences and compound and simple. And then he had a little activity with that. So we finished that. This is just something I'm going to pull out here and there throughout the next 2 years to help him with writing. If you hear my door or see my door moving, and you see your shadow, My dog has been on me this entire day, and she is right there wanting to come in. So if you hear that, I'm sorry. We also have over here out this window, my neighbor's house is getting some construction done to it, so we're competing with a lot of noise today. But anyway, I do like this so far. He liked it. It was very easy to hand to him for him to go do, and then we talked about it. So that's from Not Consumed. Other thing that's going really well is consumer math from Masterbooks. Now, I will have the link to this down in the description. It is an affiliate link, and if you use that link, it just gives me a little bit of credit towards something from Masterbooks. So we have loved this. Someone asked me if I would do a comparison between consumer math from Masterbooks and the one that I picked up last year from Not Consumed, and I'll be glad to show you the differences. But the first thing that I really love about this over the Not Consumed one, let me show you this page. So in this one, there's just a little more teaching. The Not Consumed gave a little bit of an opening, and then you were like right into the work, and there was really no teaching involved. And my son just needs a little bit more help. And so there's usually 2 sheets of information. That's what I've noticed so far. There are some strategies. They also put examples in green boxes, and we work through the examples together. And I also have taught him, please refer back to those when you're doing the problems. So there are some examples, and then I keep this out on his clipboard, and then his sheet. Now they vary in length. This one was very short compared to the ones, they're usually front and back, but they do have problems for them to do that are your basic math. It is a great review of addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, percentages, rounding. They do a lot of mental math, so that if you're at the store and you just want to get an idea of what your total might be, there's a lot of mental math, and so far so good. This is working really good. He made a 100 on his first quiz, and so this is going good. So if you're looking for a consumer math, check out Masterbooks. It's going great. Now, we're also reading 1984. It is taking us a while. It is a tough subject to get, I don't know that it's a tough subject. I don't know. It's been a hard book to read. It's been a good story, and we've had a lot to talk about, but it's just not one that you want to sit and devour, So it is taking us a while, and we're about to start another book, so we may be reading them at the same time. We'll have to figure that one out. So we are still reading 1984 together. On his own, he reads all kinds of stuff, but that's what we're reading together. The last thing, our main thing that we are doing, because we are a unit study family, and if you don't know, my son is in 11th grade, and we use unit studies. We do not do your traditional high school textbook. That's not what we do. So if you're here for high school content that is rigorous and textbook heavy and all that, you're not going to find that here. We do something very different. I do have videos that explain how to use unit studies to cover your high school courses. I'm not saying that using a textbook is wrong or that rigor is bad, because it's not. We do need to challenge our children, but he gets so much out of these unit studies that I don't think he could get from a textbook. So his first one that we used for this year was with the Skills of a Life Navigator from Campfire Curriculums. I'm not going to do a separate review on this. I'm just going to tell you what we loved about it. If you've never checked out Campfire, please go to their website. They have so many amazing units. I have a ton of stuff here on my channel. I have a ton of flip throughs, a ton of reviews, and I share all the things that I like about Campfire so that you can see on the inside of it, all that good stuff. So check out all that. I think I even have a playlist, if I'm not mistaken. So we did with the Skills of a Life Navigator. This time we used just regular notebook paper, because the one thing you'll notice if you're a gather round user, and we use those too, those are very worksheet dependent, but Campfire is not like that. And if you go to their website, they explain to you their whole philosophy, like why you're not going to see a bunch of busy work and why you're not going to see worksheets. You can read all that. So that your children are going to take notes. They can draw, they're going to take notes as you're going through these the units that you choose. Now this unit, with the Skills of a Life Navigator, obviously your whole family can sit around and enjoy this unit, but I would say probably middle school and up would benefit the most from it. And if you have a middle schooler, maybe revisiting it again when they get in high school, because this was an excellent unit. We talked a lot about what it means to be an adult, like who decides that. We talked about a lot of different places and what their rites of passage were and how they determined when you were an adult, and some of them were very, very interesting. We talked about how in America there really isn't a rite of passage like there are in some other places. We also covered, I don't have the unit with me because I just download it to my computer and I share it to the screen on my TV, but you could obviously print it out. But we also covered hospitality. We went to Japan, you know, and learned some things about Japan. That was probably my son's favorite lesson because he did go to Japan with my husband in April, and so he was all about that. But yeah, we learned about hospitality and how you're supposed to treat people when they come to your house or when you go to their house. We learned about etiquette. We learned about so many things. I'm trying to think of it. I wish I had the table of contents right here. We covered work ethic, what it looks like and what it doesn't look like. We talked about masculinity. We talked about, I think it's called the Peter Pan syndrome, how people just do not want to grow up and take on that responsibility. We covered the importance of rest, like work is important, but so is rest, and how to balance those things. It all in all was just such a wonderful unit that my son was very disappointed when we were finished. I came in one day and I'm like, okay, what unit do you want to do next? And he's like, wait, are we already done with that unit? And I said, we are. And he's like, but I really liked it. And I'm like, I'm sorry, it only had 12 lessons. Had 13. 13 was a bonus lesson, but he didn't want it to be over. He really enjoyed it. So I asked him, what did he like about it? So I'm going to go through his stuff because he doesn't want to be on video. So he said, I remember reading the prologue to him and doing the first lesson with him, and he only knew like the name of the unit. He didn't know who made it. And we read through, and he stopped me and he's like, did Campfire make this unit? And I'm like, they did. And he said, I knew it had to be them because they have the best way of teaching stuff. He said, I get so into what is written in these units that I don't even feel like I'm learning. He's like, they are so good. They do such a good job putting it into story form. He said, it's just not boring at all. He's like, I love Campfire units. So he was really into it. He said they just know how to take the information and put it into such a digestible form that is just so easy to understand. He said he loved that there's no busy work. He enjoys discussion. And so there's a lot of times to stop and repeat and to talk and to write if you want to and to notebook if you want to. So he loves that. I said, what was your favorite lesson? And he said, really, I loved all the lessons, but I'm going to go with the Japan lessons. His favorite activity that we did not do every activity. Don't feel like you have to. But one of the ones that we did was this sand activity. And it was talking all about how people make to-do lists, but that doesn't make you any more efficient. And so it talked about thinking of it like a funnel. And so you're going to get, you have the very important stuff that's urgent that you need to do right now. You have things that you can delegate to other people. You have stuff that can wait. And so anyway, the sand activity was in that one, and you used rocks and pebbles and sand, and he's like, oh, that makes so much sense. And so he loved that sand activity. That was I think that was like lesson 11. And then and he said he had no complaints. I said, is there anything you did not like about it? He said, I have no complaints. So that's good because he'll let you know when he's not happy. As far as the core connections, we love the biology. The biology was the focus. That's why we picked this unit. And so what we did is I would print off things he does not like to draw. And so I would print off things from the core connections and let him glue them onto his notebook page. So he would take notes and label things around the things that we would glue in there. So we learned all things prefrontal cortex, amygdala, hypothalamus, basal ganglia. I hope I'm saying that right. We covered so much. We talked about executive function, which was really interesting to him because he does have ADHD. Just so much was covered, but in such an understandable way. Like, I wish that I had been taught biology this way. I would have held on to the information a lot longer than I actually did because it was like learning it again for the first time. So we covered all things brain, hormones, how your gut affects your emotions. We talked about emotions. It was so good. The language arts, I asked him what he thought about the language arts. And he told me that it was very helpful for him because he does like writing. He actually has a couple of books that he's writing himself. And the language arts was all about writing really good descriptive paragraphs where your reader leaves knowing the person's personality, or they understand what scene they're in, or, really good descriptive paragraphs using really good verbs in your word choice. And so he thought that was super helpful. So that's why I did not pull in any other kind of writing assignment, because I knew this would be helpful to him. And so I would just get him to label like what lesson it was, and we would do whatever activity it was. So he liked that a lot. Now, some of the core connections for the language arts, they did have a little bit of grammar, and it looked something like this. And like this one was on parallel structure and the importance of, your sentence, making sense. They should be in the same grammatical form. And that is something that, you do need to be aware of when you're writing. So we would go over that, but then we also use Fix-It Grammar just as a good grammar review. That's easy. It takes them less than 10 minutes. And I just added it on top of that. So I think that's it. Yeah, no complaints. He loved it. So going forward, he wanted to stop using this notebook. He's like, this is too big and bulky. I don't like having to keep up with the individual sheets. Do you hear my dog? She's just scratching and scratching. There's nothing wrong with her. So he didn't want to use this again. So I went and pulled out our trusty Schoolnest notebook. Now he's covered his with stickers, but this is the grade level notebook. I always have these linked in my Amazon shop. You can go and look at them there, but you can also pick out, I don't have every color linked because there are tons of colors, but this is the grade level one. I'm pretty sure it's the grade level one. I think it is. Yeah, it's the grade level one. And so we're about to start the Holocaust unit. By the time you see this, we've already started. So we pick this one. Number one, we don't need a lot of history. We've already had our history credits, but I knew this was something that would pull him in. This time period, World War II, Hitler, he's very interested in that time period. And so I knew if I could hook him with a really good unit, that the science wouldn't be so difficult for him to do also. So the science focus in this is very health, biology, psychology heavy. And those are all things that we want to get credit in. So this is the one that we're doing next. And the writing is investigative journalism. And so I feel like that's something that will help him also with his writing. So this is what we're jumping into next. He's also doing masterclass. And then he's also taking a crash course in psychology. Crash course that's on YouTube, I can't even talk. He's doing their psychology. He does 2 videos of psychology a week and 2 of masterclass a week. So that's what's going on. So luckily we are in September and things are starting to settle down, but I know as soon as I say that, something's going to pop up. But I'm ready for all things fall. I'm ready for cool weather, and I'm ready for pumpkins and the leaves to change color and all those wonderful things and scary movies. So let me know, how is the beginning of your school year going? Are there things that you're already going to have to change, or is everything perfect? I hope it's perfect, but it is okay if you do have to change some things. So let me know down in the comments how it's going. If you have any questions about anything I shared today, please leave those in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching.